Cosmere can be a confusing place.
From allomancy to surge binding, there's a lot to look out for.
We're your hosts and escorts to the realms. I'm Griff.
And I'm Alex.
And this is the Silverlight Guide to the Cosmere.
All right, and welcome back, bookworms. You're here.
Indeed.
You're here for a debrief on Dragonsteel Con. Before we do that, let me introduce our guest host today. We have Tahlla, my lovely wife.
Hello. I'm so glad to be on. Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We got the buttons.
We got the studio audience in here today.
We sure do. And of course we have Griff and myself, Alex. We are going to, like I said already once, and now I'm going to say again, debrief you on what happened at Dragonsteel Con 2023 and probably talk a little bit about what's going to happen at 2024, give you a little taste of what you should expect. We're going to start out with some shout outs from the con for our listeners. David from Kansas City, you made my heart soar when you said that you were going to attend our live recording. You were the first person that we met that was going to say that. Technically, you were the first person that we met that was like going to the con. And it was a pleasure walking to get badges with you. Second, we have Tim. Tim came up to us after the live recording and let us know that it was because he listened to our podcast that he knew Dragonsteel Con even was a thing, which is also a wonderful feeling.
Indeed. Honestly, that was probably one of the most heartfelt moments at the con for myself.
Yeah, I agree. That was wonderful. All right. We're going to blow through the news real fast. Sanderson has put out his weekly update, which was the announcements portion of what happened at Dragonsteel Con. So please go watch that. They announced Dragonsteel Village. They announced the Words of Radiance Kickstarter. If this is the first time you're hearing this news, thank you for choosing us as your number one source of Cosmere news, but you are about a week late. And then we have some things that they didn't announce in the video, and that is some upcoming works. Dan Wells at the fan holders meeting was asked some questions, and we got some juicy tidbits. So the first thing is he is working on a horror novel. It is not set on Threnody. It is set on a new planet. We are very curious to see what's going on there. And then we also have, he said that he is working on a project set at the same time as Words of Radiance. No other news. Might be Hoyd related. I know people have asked where Hoyd was during Words of Radiance, but unlikely. Could just be happening at the same place in the timeline, different planet, who knows. The big one, though, is that he said that he and Isaac Stewart were working together on a project that we have all been waiting for, that we've been asking for, that fills in a gap in the timeline. And when asked later at the Q&A, Sanderson was asked, what does Nightblood look like in the cognitive realm? He said, I have been having to think about that a lot recently. And so we have a very soft confirmation that the Nightblood novella is a thing. It is happening. Dan Wells and Isaac Stewart may or may not be writing it.
Well, now to play devil's advocate, I'm going to say that might not be the case. Because what he might be talking about with having to think about Nightblood's cognitive realm form is that is going to feature heavily in Stormlight 5.
You're not wrong, but like Occam's razor?
I mean, yes. I'm also just going to say, though, that it could potentially be something else entirely.
Yeah. Zeth could go into the cognitive realm with Sword Nimi in Stormlight 5.
And I'm going to say that there are probably some other holes in the timeline that have just as much interest brewing around them.
Yeah, but I'm going to hype this, so I'm going to get my hopes way too high.
That's fair.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes too much sense.
You're going to put all your eggs in one basket.
All of them. All of the eggs. We also have from Brotherwise Games, we have the Mistborn Deck-Building Game that is going to simulate allomantic battles. That's going to be released next November. And we have the Shards of Creation trick-taking game, which may or may not feature all of the shards at once, but should be a family-friendly, no Cosmere knowledge needed to play card game going on. And the Stormlight miniatures are available for pre-order. If you backed the miniatures, they are starting to ship out. It can take quite a while from getting the notification that your thing is being prepared for it to ship to it actually shipping. I got mine on Tuesday last week and at Dragonsteel Con, and it is still not shipped, which I am not bitter about, but I am wondering why the system is set up to announce that it's preparing to ship and then takes 2 weeks to start shipping. So that doesn't super matter, but you should be aware of it.
Still doesn't seem like the most optimized system.
No, indeed. So there you have it. All right, let's talk about the con. That's why Tahlla is here. This is a new time for Tahlla. She read a Sanderson book before she went to the con this time. And Tahlla, how was your time at Dragonsteel Con 2023?
Well, it was a lot of fun. I did some planning. I did a cosplay, so I was working on a cosplay for a few months prior. And like you mentioned, I read one book, and that was Tress in the Emerald Sea. And that was a really great book. I chose to cosplay as the redhead miniature that you showed me. And so I went as Words of Radiance Shallan, and it was really fun, although I haven't gotten that far in the books series, to learn more about Shallan. And so it was great. I cosplayed. We had our booth going. We prepared stickers and all these sticker designs months leading up. And it seemed like the booth did well and everyone was nice. We had one person come up to the booth straight away who was a VIP and said that he listened to the podcast, and that was really exciting to see.
Blew my mind.
Yeah, your fans. And it was really amazing. They had a Hoyd museum, and they had a Nightblood.
They did have a replica of Nightblood, yeah.
Yeah, and it had steam coming out of it, and they let you hold it. So I got some pictures with that, and they had doom slugs that were big and like inflated that they had them going around and people were taking pictures with. I saw all different kinds of cosplays. Some of my favorites, of course, were Tress in the Emerald Sea, but I saw some doom slugs as well, super cute. And then we met the art director.
We did.
Yeah. And
Ben McSweeney.
Yeah, he was so awesome. He was our first person who bought a sticker.
That blew my mind.
And he said I got every detail right on my cosplay. So that was very reassuring and exciting that I got appreciation.
I was fanboying so hard. Ben McSweeney, if you somehow listen to this podcast, first, I apologize for not being able to say words after you said your name was Ben McSweeney. Second, thank you for purchasing our Hello, My Name is Doug sticker.
Yeah. So I thoroughly enjoyed it, especially to the end where Brandon Sanderson was making announcements. And I know we're not going to go too much into it, but it did remind me of like a Studio Ghibli-esque nice community with his castle-inspired building, with the community coming together in shops. And that moment there really made me become more of a fan of his. So I really enjoyed meeting him, I guess, just as an audience member.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Griff, what did you think about Dragonsteel Con 2023? How did you like it?
Honestly, I liked it a lot more than our first. Might have been because we were vendors, and so the badge collecting process went a lot more smoothly.
Yeah.
Just because, well, not necessarily more smoothly, but at least we got them earlier than trying to sit in the general line.
Yes.
But no, I enjoyed it. I mean, I thought that they had a lot more activities go on there, which was...
They did.
Impressive. They had way more vendors than they did for 2022, which was kind of surprising considering that this was a smaller book release than last year's. So I'm both looking forward to and slightly scared about how large the con is going to be for the next one, because the fact that it'll be the release of Stormlight 5.
Same. They had a neat Dragonsteel store, so that
Yes.
they didn't have their merch in the vendor hall. They had it off by itself, but the line to get in was at times 3 hours long.
Yeah, I'm glad that we got in when we did, when they were kind of letting some people sneak in, because we got in when it was much quieter and much less of a hectic situation. So I'm kind of glad about that. But I am glad that they had more going on, and I kind of hope, I don't remember that it was something, Guild of something, that did the Hoyd Museum, and I kind of want to see what they have going next year, because they also did a VR Mbot experience. It was like Mbot's Adventure or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I'll be interested to see what they do next year, and I kind of hope they expand on the Hoyd Museum with some, I hope they made enough money this time around, although I don't know if they were charging for anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that they may have just been approached by Dragonsteel, given a set amount of money, and said, do your thing.
Yeah, that's fair. They may have been, but I hope that if that was the situation, I hope they get more next year, or even if they get the same amount of money, they may be able to invest it into more things for the Hoyd Museum. So it'd be fun to see that expanded.
I agree. It would also be fun to get a Stormlight ugly Christmas sweater, because the Mistborn one that I wore all day today is wonderful. And I think a Stormlight one would be also equally wonderful.
I agree, because it would come with all the different Surge and Night Radiant Order symbols.
Yeah. Probably.
So that would be fun.
Let's see what I have in mind. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that the lightning signing went really smoothly. They had that down to a science.
They did. It seems like they took what went wrong last year and overcompensated positively.
Honestly, yeah, they had it down to clockwork, and I was glad for it. I mean, it went really smoothly, so.
Yeah. I had a wonderful time at my lightning signing. For those who don't know, if you wear a cosplay when you lightning sign, you get a pin, cosplay pin number 1, which you can get no other way, and it's a little pin of Shalash, the herald from the Stormlight Archives, or a herald from the Stormlight Archives. And I did not have a cosplay, but we had enough time, and my wife had enough wherewithal to decide to give me her Shallan jacket. And so I went in and I started talking to the lady next to me, Jen, who was at our live recording. Shout out to Jen if you're listening to this. And we were talking about how anxious we were, and I was actually worried about how much thank you, Wolfie, for adding your voice to the speaker. And so with the lightning signing, you hold your book up and he comes around and he signs, and maybe you get to say something to him, or he'll stop and talk. And 2 people down from me, Sanderson signed a specific chapter in Rhythm of War that the guy had written his master's thesis on, and composed a musical work for it. And then Sanderson he signed Jen's book, which was The Way of Kings, and then signed mine and kind of stopped as if I had the opportunity to talk to him. And I say, and Tahlla and I had been trying to figure out what I should say to Sanderson if I got the chance. And I was trying to come up with I'm a world hopper and I wanted to try on a scout's uniform, or I'm the Lopin and I thought that it looked comfy. And I ended up saying to Brandon Sanderson, I'm wearing my wife's cosplay. And,
well done, my friend.
And he kind of looks at me and he goes, that will do. Let's get you a pin. And then I got a pin, and he moved on with his life. And
indeed.
and I can't seem to move on with mine. And it was wonderful.
He will not remember, and so you will have a chance to
Reintroduce.
raise yourself up next year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when we get him on this podcast,
Of course, yes.
I'm definitely going to.
Yes, that is our next goal. That is our next goal.
That is the goal, Griff. After we get him on our podcast, our podcast is over.
This is true. That will be the last episode of our podcast.
And then we'll relaunch as the unofficial Silverlight Guide to the Cosmere podcast.
Honestly, at that point, maybe we can actually get him to endorse it and we can be the official Silverlight Guide to the Cosmere.
That's true. We'll see. We'll see.
I mean, but if we get big enough to have Brandon Sanderson on, I feel like we will have earned our official status.
Well, I think we're official anyways, and our Spotify Wrapped for our podcast says we're official.
Okay, that's fair.
By inference. Okay.
What, just the fact that we had a Spotify Wrapped for the podcast, that makes us official?
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay.
It does.
All right.
Absolutely. Tahlla, what was your favorite part?
My favorite part. That's tough. There are a lot of good moments. I mean, I can say a few that are sticking out to me. Working the booth, it kind of was hard to do events, but I got away a few times. Like I got to go to the cosplay stage and walk across the stage. I got to do a meetup with other Shallans, and that was really fun to take pictures with them. Like I said earlier, the Doom Slug was super cute. Like just going around taking pictures and, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like little moments like that. That was it for me. There was no big moment. I didn't get a lightning signing or anything. So
Yeah.
But I had fun.
Yeah. Griff, what was your favorite part?
That's rough. I think it would probably be, definitely our live recording stands out.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. I think it went really smoothly. Obviously, we need to test the audio next time, but despite all of that, I think it went really well. I also just really enjoyed the Hoyd Museum. I thought it was a cool experience, and there was a lot more in there than I expected them to have.
They really shoved a lot in there.
They did, and it was like some quality stuff too. Like it was a much better production than I expected, honestly.
I agree.
And so I am excited to see what they pull off next year. Did any of us go on the MBOT adventure thing?
Yeah, Tahlla and I did it.
Yeah. It was
Okay,
fun.
how was it? Because I didn't actually do it.
Oh.
It was.
I don't know. Would that be spoilers if we talked about it?
No, it's not spoilers.
Okay.
It was really fun in this game was made in 2008 kind of way.
Okay.
It was a 360 virtual reality experience. Right. So as the MBOT would appear on the screen, it would take you through the adventure, and you would spin your chair as the MBOT would move around. So that's how the 360 experience happened. My favorite part was, I think, the T-Rex. Was it T-Rex, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is out of context spoilers, because
you said no spoilers.
There's.
Okay, well, take that out.
I mean, it's a universe thing. Like, dinosaurs exist somewhere in our universe too, right? It's infinite. No, that's not how that works. Oh. But it was wonderful. They said that they didn't have a whole lot of time to work on it, which is why I feel okay to say that, you know how when video games are announced and they have the trailer and it looks really fancy, and then they release a legitimate gameplay trailer, and people are like, "What the hell?" This was not quite what the hell, but it was still needing 2 or 3 layers of polish for it to be like, or probably like 10 layers of polish for it to be like a Blizzard cutscene kind of thing going on. So,
okay.
But
I mean, hopefully they'll have more time to work on whatever they're doing next. So
they're hoping
ideally
to make it. They're hoping to make it interactive next time.
Okay, interesting. I wonder if they're going to be a Night Radiant thing.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Because I feel like if they already did the thing with MBot, and I'm assuming there's flight in that, they may have you joining some Windrunners.
That would be cool. And to make it clear, I had a blast in it, and it did actually make me feel like I was in the Defiant or Skyward universe. So it was really well done, and they had a whole setup that was very immersive.
Neat. Yeah, I actually will say the props, even just for the MBot adventure one, was really, really cool. Like, outside of the VR experience, I just thought the props they had up were really neat. So
yeah. All right, and then
I will be.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I will be interested to see what they bring it up for next year.
Same. They introduced 12 new pieces of merch. I think that's what they said. Or maybe it was 35. No, I think it was 12. 12 new pieces of merch. Some of them are available on Dragonsteel's website. Some of them have already sold out, like the Mistborn Christmas sweater. Tahlla, what was your favorite piece of merch?
The Tress Cup.
Tress Cup. Yep.
It was very cute.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Glad we were able to get our paws on that.
Yeah.
Our little rat paws. Griff, what was your favorite merch?
I mean, I would probably say the character pins, the ones that they had for the Secret Project characters.
Okay.
Even the Frugal Wizard's Handbook one was a little Mervyn, which was, I think, the best choice to go for when it came to the pin for that book.
I agree. I really liked the Mistborn Christmas sweater, as I've said it 3 times this podcast episode.
Yes.
I also really like the ramen bowl and I can't pick. Why did I say one favorite?
I don't know. You were the one that presented this question.
I know. It was really cool. All of it.
It
all
was
great. The Doom Slug.
I will be interested to see what they do for next year as well, because they had a bunch of Doom Slugs for this year. And so I feel like we're probably going to be getting a ton of Stormlight products for next year.
Could be.
Which will be intriguing for me well, I don't know if in particular of our group, but I will definitely be looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The Doomslug socks were very cute, and they would be my second pick.
Yeah, Doomslug socks.
Yeah, mine had a little pear on it. I don't know if they all had that, but
yeah.
Also, I'm apparently going to potentially have to back the leather bound for what's it? Words of Radiance? Is that the next one coming out?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it depends. I'm kind of hoping they'll have an option to just back for the plushie and not get the book.
Ideally, ideal. They definitely should have that option, because for the Words of Radiance Kickstarter, it's not Kickstarter. It's crowdfunding, but it's actually just through BackerKit. BackerKit. Yeah, they actually have the books already. So
right.
They are using this to process orders, and they are doing plush spreads for the Night Radiant bonding spread. At least we saw a picture of Syl. And then that may take more time for those to actually exist and be sent to people. But if I imagine with the amount of people who have said, hey, why does this have to be leather? I don't purchase animal products. Please make a premium edition that's not leather. With enough people saying that over the years, there's definitely going to be an option to purchase this brand separately. If there's not,
that is definitely...
If there's not, we turn this into an anti-Dragonsteel podcast. We go full bore We make our own universe. We get thousands upon thousands of fans, and we do it better. That is how much.
We effectively we proclaim war on Brandon Sanderson is what you are suggesting.
That is right.
No.
And that is how much I am sure that the spread will be available to purchase apart from the leather-bound edition, because I don't want to do that. I will, but I don't want to do it.
Oh.
I will probably get an Inkspren and a Cryptic.
Yeah. Sil is cute.
Depending on if I can persuade Tahlla, I will be getting all of them.
Ooh.
That is fair. I am not that invested.
No.
And put them where?
Invested. Put them where? At that point, we'll have a Sanderson shrine. One of our Kallax bookshelves will just be Sanderson.
Okay. No.
But
like we'll find
the
a spot,
entire
not
top,
the entire
the
shelf.
entire top of our 2 Kallax shelves will be Sanderson.
Okay, the entire half. 5. You can have 5 squares.
I can have 5 squares. It's already taking up 4,
Yeah.
and we haven't
Honestly,
even put
with
the
enough people complaining about the leatherbound, I'm hoping they'll start releasing premium hardbacks like they did for the Year of Sanderson books, except for the mainline books.
I think they're gonna. To play devil's advocate, I am not sure that is actually going to happen. I
don't know if it will, but I can hope.
Well, yeah, you can hope, but I think Sanderson has already stated that he doesn't want to keep taking our money in a money-grabbing way. So he wants...
Well, yes, I realize.
Right. He wants to limit crowdfunding things to 2 per year, is what he said. Right. And hold on, I'm not done.
Okay, I'm waiting.
And I think because they are already like 7 books into the leather-bound editions, that if they were to introduce a premium non-leather bound, that it could be seen as a money-grabbing thing for people who have already purchased a premium copy to then be given, oh, hey, there's another of this edition, which a lot of people would be fine with. They'd be like, okay, I don't need that, or I'm a collector, I'm going to buy it. But it actually, we've seen this with Taylor Swift recently. Mm-hmm. She put out, oh, here's my new album. This vinyl is going to be available for 48 hours. It's special yellow. And then after the end of 48 hours, oh, hey, look, there's a special edition, and this one is green. And then there were 2 more after that, only available for a certain amount of time. And people are like, well, that seems odd.
But then it was available.
Okay.
It wasn't technically true. Like, she made it available.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that I would say. I would like to see him start with Elantris.
Okay.
And just do, again, like a nice hardback, non-leather, because again, like you said, there's enough people that are probably saying, hey, I don't buy leather products, but I would still like a premium version of this book to have as part of my collection. Mm-hmm. That I feel like they could go with a style similar to the 4 Secret Project books as a hardback cover with, I don't remember the term that they used for the colorizing that they did on the covers.
Right.
But I don't necessarily think you would even have to backer kit or like crowdfund it. I mean, maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. I don't know. But I feel like there's enough of an audience and it's enough of a different product from the leather bounds that I can only speak from my own point of view, but I would not feel like it was a money grabbing tactic.
Sure. Yeah. And I don't think I would either, but I do see that it could be considered that, and so I would expect Sanderson to be very hesitant and really make sure
I I definitely would see it if people weren't asking for it. But
Sure.
since people are asking for it, since, there are enough people that are ethically against, leather products and things like that. Because, like, the thing with the Taylor Swift one is that, people, I'm sure, were all asking for vinyls, but they probably weren't asking for 4 different colors of vinyls.
Right.
Oh, it's agonizing because I'm a Swiftie, so like I want to buy all the CDs. And like this latest one in 1989, she had different pictures for the premium album, so I ended up buying 8. And it was bad.
Yeah.
And so, it's one of those things where I feel like he'd actually be giving his fans what they want, since, I mean, like, I love the leather-bound copies, don't get me wrong, but they are so out of my price range. I cannot justify spending that kind of money. But if it was something more like the secret projects, which I feel would probably be more reasonably priced, I mean, still expensive, but more reasonably priced than a leather-bound copy.
Sure.
That's something I feel like I could, put the money into.
I have an idea, and we can move to the next question that nobody has asked us, but I'm going to ask y'all after this. Instead of a premium edition of the book, a premium case that you could store a book in if you wanted, but essentially it is like one of those hidden secret book things that's hollowed out. Okay. So, but for all of the books, right? So
I could get behind that.
You could have a really nice looking display of Sanderson book titles on your bookshelf, but they are holding your book or they're just there to look pretty. Because what are the leather bounds doing for a lot of people? They're sitting on their shelf looking pretty. So that could be... Alternatively, it'd be really cool to keep whatever you want in there. Extra Sanderson merch that you don't want to display, so on and so forth. That
it would at least unify the collection, because that's one of the things that does bug me about and it would still bug me even if I had the leather-bound copies, would be the fact that the 4 secret projects are sitting there standing out.
Yeah. So that could be, and you could sell them in sets and always make new ones to your specification as new books come out for the rest of eternity, because that's how Sanderson is writing the Cosmere. I'm just kidding. It will be just probably 10 years after he dies. So
it'll be interesting to see what he does after he finishes the meta plot, depending on how that resolves.
I imagine he'll just stop. He'll be like, okay, story's done.
I mean, maybe.
Now, he'll be time to tie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and he'll ruin everything.
By that point, he'll have grown so large that he buys Disney.
There you go. It's no longer Disney World; it's Sando World. Magic Mountain.
All right.
More like Horneater Mountain. Okay. Let's switch to some serious discussion. Tahlla.
Yes, you said you had a question for us.
I did. Tahlla, what do you think could have gone better at Dragonsteel 2023?
So for our booth, I would say that one thing that could have gone better is that we could have sold our sticker packs right away on the first day. So what we found is that more people were interested in buying like pre-made packs where the stickers ended up being a bit cheaper. So we sold a lot of those. So that's something we're going to have prepared and ready to go next year. And
if you're interested in purchasing those stickers, the website will be in the description of the episode. Pictures coming soon.
Yes.
What else could have gone better, Tahlla?
I don't know. It was like a perfect con.
It was a perfect con.
Totally. I can't really think of it. Come back to me.
I'll come back to you. Okay,
Yeah.
Griff, what could have gone better?
We could have tested our audio before recording, our live recording.
Okay, and next?
Next, I agree with Tahlla about the sticker packs. We should have been selling those from day one. I did not expect them to sell as well as they did. They were going like hotcakes.
Yep.
Yep.
Other than that,
Wolfie, get off the microphone.
I would like. I don't know who was in charge of the speculative timeline panel that I attended, but that was a major disappointment.
That was sad to hear.
I was really looking forward to this. I expected it to be much more panelist run, and mostly they just kind of were taking audience questions and suggestions on timeline things, and it was frustrating because it felt like they didn't have a whole lot actually planned.
Yeah, and it was, I think his name's Steve from RAFO, Read and Find Out YouTube channel. And I know he has done an episode on where things are placed on the Cosmere timeline. So and
they did have that included,
right?
They had pictures from his YouTube video, like as slides that they did use somewhat.
Yeah,
but I would say it was maybe the first quarter or third of the event. And the rest was really just kind of audience stuff. And I don't know, it did not live up to what I expected it to be. And maybe I was expecting too much, but.
Yeah, I mean, but when you set aside time for an event, it should be held to a standard that a majority of the people will walk away feeling good that they chose to attend that event and to carve out their time at the con where there's so many other things they could be doing. So.
Yeah, like honestly, knowing were I to go back and redo it, I'd probably attend the Magic of Wit or the Magic of Hoyd, whichever, I don't remember exactly what the panel was called.
Yeah. Hoyd and his magic systems.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that one. I probably would have attended that rather than the speculative timeline one.
Sure. Yeah. There's, and it's one thing, I think the quality of submitted events by vendors and attendees, that quality could probably vary and be fine. But when it's an event that is being marketed by Dragonsteel and put in one of their main rooms, that needs to be, I mean, it doesn't have to be S tier, but it does have to be worth it.
You need to at least be high B.
Yeah. All right, Tahlla.
And I don't know what kind of quality control they do on their panels.
They may not.
But if they don't do any, that might be something they need to change in the future.
Yeah.
Like you said, if it's one of the side room ones, whatever, that can be, that the quality there can vary wildly. But like you said, if it's a main room one, maybe they need to start putting some quality control aspects in.
Yeah. I was pleased by how many people came up to us and said that our live recording was really good. So
yeah, honestly, I was really pleased with that.
Yeah, several people were like, that was such a great way to start the con.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It was very nice.
And so we should absolutely be doing that next year.
We should just do all the panels.
All of them, yes. We're just going to do every single panel will just be done by us.
Yes. Perfect.
Get one panel for each day. So
right.
You can get 3.
If you can't talk the talk, don't walk the walk.
Honestly, I think we should at least do 3 potential recordings. And we could just honestly grab the top slot for each day.
Yeah, could be.
And just let people start their con that way.
Could be. We'll see what they allow us to do.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, yeah, they'll,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like Tahlla has her answer for what could have gone better at the con.
Yes, I do. I thought of one. So they had these games that you can complete, and one of them was, I believe, the Delver's Eye.
Delver Eyes, yeah.
Delver Eye. So they could have done that a bit better. There were a lot of, like, us as vendors, we were a bit confused. And even a lot of the people who stopped by the booth were confused on how to complete the task. So they had a video, and then towards the end I watched the video and I can see the confusion. So I think something that could be better next year is like either like written out instructions, like they don't have to print it out, but they can include underneath the video like a more explanation for each of the 4 things that was going on.
Yeah. And I think they wanted the
Sorry,
Delver,
go on.
Oh, sure. They wanted the Delver Eye to be kind of like a, wait, what is that? What's going on?
It didn't really work out
Yeah.
like that. People were just confused, and you want to tell them what's up so they can enjoy the con.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but
And then they had the with the tokens of reality,
Reality icons.
reality icons. That's it. Yeah.
and that, yeah.
And I mean, I was fine to hand them out, but I still honestly don't know what they were for.
So for
I know it was one of the games.
yeah,
but
it was one of the games. So you needed to complete all 4 games to get all 4 pages or something.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even really a prize from what I could tell.
Well, what it ended up being was, I think if you completed everything, you got the origami pages and the little story that then they were then selling at Dragonsteel at the Dragonsteel shop for $25.
And then maybe a pin too.
You got the cadet pin. Yeah, you got the cadet pin.
Yeah. So I think that was the prize.
So the pin itself would probably be.
I think better instructions for the games. Yeah, I agree with Tahlla. That would either that or design your games in such a way that they are intuitive.
Yeah.
Right.
Either one.
Speaking of pins, we should talk about the pin challenge that was really good, the secret one. You remember that?
Right. Brian McClellan
Yeah.
had a little. So they asked the vendors to not have extra challenges. But
Which, like,
oh well.
there were 2 booths that absolutely did not follow that
Nope.
that instruction.
That's true. And so Brian McClellan, the author of the Promise of Blood, it's the Powder Mage trilogy, and others, and Glass Immortals. He had a little scavenger hunt that Tahlla and our other friend Alex completed. I didn't actually get to complete it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nor did I.
Yeah. But that was really fun. Somewhat difficult.
Yeah, but it had written out instructions.
It did
and you
have
could follow
written.
through, and it was fun. At the very end, I walked down like the back behind all the vendors, and it was like a secret little table, and then I said the 3 different names to get the prize.
Yeah.
So it was fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can have my pin because
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
yeah, of course.
Yeah. I was able to pick up Montego in the Glass Immortals.
Yes.
And Glass Immortals novella. And yeah, lots of authors.
As did I.
Yeah. Lots of authors.
Lots of authors. Lots of artists. And just a lot of booths. Way more booths than last year.
Yeah.
Like, at least double.
Yeah. The line management was a lot better, except for purchasing food, because they had food vendors in the vendor hall, and during lunchtime it was really difficult, and it was a main thoroughfare.
Yeah.
It was really difficult to get to the restrooms there.
Yeah, I think if they were going to do that next year, now I don't know what kind of safety requirements are around the food vendor booths. But I would like to see them place them elsewhere next year.
Yeah. And we'll see what options are available for them to. They may be able to move in that other part of the convention center. But next year is going to be insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next year is going to be apparently because, or I mean, not even apparently, because they also claim they're going to be pulling out all the stops.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like next year is going to have a much higher attendance count. Also because I just think the Cytonic series did not have as robust a fan base as the Stormlight Archives does.
Right. More people were.
So I think we're going to see it.
More people were definitely cosplaying Cosmere than
Yes.
Defiant or Skyward.
And so I feel like there were probably some people that stayed home from the event this year, and I feel like they're going to be coming for next year.
Definitely. They can still limit how many people come via the badge. But
True.
I do expect. So I think last year they maxed out at 5,000 badges, and I expect. Did I say next year? Last year.
You said last year.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So next year, I imagine they'll probably bump it to 8. And
Possibly more, depending on how many of the con spaces they can get their hands on.
Yeah. And I got in line for a low numbered copy. There were people out there from, I think they said
It's 8 p.m.
8 p.m. the day before, which they're
Good
not.
God.
I mean,
That's
if we're looking at it objectively, legally, that's not allowed. They're allowed to start lining up at 4 a.m., but nobody's going to follow that. So they were saying...
No, nobody's going to follow that. And on top of that, like, people would get around it anyway just by hanging around and not being officially in the line because, like,
Right.
the sidewalks are public space. They can't stop people from waiting out there.
Yeah, well, the place where they were lined up this year was close enough to the convention and not on a street sidewalk that I would suggest that it would actually be owned by the convention. So that would.
Oh no, I know that, but what I'm saying is that people would just move back onto
sure.
the sidewalk closest to,
Yeah.
and then they'd have no recourse to stop them from being there.
Yeah. So
it was outside. It was so cold.
It was outside. It was very cold. Tahlla and I managed to wake up early enough that Tahlla was like, "You should go in line," and I got there right before 6, which is when they started handing out the numbers. And I got 155, and I was like 3 people from the end of the people that had lined up. And so the people at the very front had actually purchased multiple copies, so they got back into line for more numbered copies. And they said that they were going to plan to line up from noon, if not midnight, the day before to get low numbered copies of Stormlight 5.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely going to be necessary because Stormlight you're going to have people out there that want it that badly.
Yep. And I am just going to be happy if I get a numbered copy.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not shooting for anything fancy. I'll buy the bundle this time around.
Well, hopefully they have an option where, well, I mean, if you want the stuff, great. Hopefully they'll have an option where you can avoid the stuff, just pay the increased cost because it's signed, like we talked about in a few episodes ago.
Right.
But
I mean, like, I'm not really shooting for numbered copies. That's not something I strive for. So
yeah. But it is cool that I got 155.
It is.
Oh yeah, no, it's neat. Like I'm not
yeah,
like downplaying it, but it's just not something that I have on my goals. So
yeah. I think it might actually be better if they did the numbering through the purchasing on the website on tabletop.
Yeah.
And so
I agree.
They could have a this is going to be, or people who purchase it between this time and this time will get a number between this and this. And maybe they still do the line, but it's only for the first 10 or something. I don't know. That's not super in the spirit of fairness for people who really want that number 1. But
maybe they could do a virtual queue.
Maybe that could work. But then you'd have somebody in number 1 and then their connection goes out.
That's like,
yeah.
Honestly, what they might be able to do, and this would be somewhat of an unfair way to do it, but I still think a fair way to do it without having people line up, would be kind of a lottery type thing, almost like a raffle.
Sure.
Where you could, pay a small charge on your badge and be entered into the chance to get a numbered copy, but it's kind of random which one you're going to get.
Fun fact, raffles are illegal in Utah.
Yep.
So
I was about to
True.
say that.
So it wouldn't be a raffle, it would be something else.
Yeah.
But regardless, the premise is the same.
Yeah. Yep. All right. And so it is Dragonsteel 2024 is the 5th through 7th next year of December.
Yes, that is important because rather than it being a Monday, Tuesday, it is going to be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yep. Because
Brandon Sanderson is popular enough to defy release convention for books.
Yep. And it'll be definitely after Thanksgiving because that's how that works. So the flights should be much cheaper. We are going to fly. We're not going to drive again from Texas.
Yeah.
We are going to fly.
That is wise.
Yep.
Yep.
So there we are. Anything else that we need to discuss?
No, I think that's it.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much all the con. I'm kind of looking forward to the whole Sanderson Village thing, whatever they ended up calling that.
Yeah, that'll probably be ready.
I don't know if they have an official name.
I don't know, but I think they said 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
So
right, so it'll be a long-term project, but it'll be interesting to see what they do with it.
It would be cool if they got it up by the time Stormlight 6 releases, because that will be 5 or 6 years from now. So
yeah, true. That'll be neat.
Yep.
God, I hope the Cosmere goes or finishes before Sanderson or I die, whichever one comes first.
Well, I mean, he's setting it up for people to be able to take it after he dies. In
right.
the case that
but I'm
happens.
hoping that he will finish the main story.
Well, he just needs to write the last word, right? So he can pre-do that, and then
work from the end backwards.
It's like a tip-in sheet where they just Nope. All right.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
podcast.
thanks for being here. We'll
Indeed,
have you
thanks
on,
for being here.
We'll have you on again in the future. Hoping to get Amy from the Cosmere Institute for Sandersonian Studies on to talk about cosplay.
Yes.
Our next episode dropping will be our Oathbringer review with Nathaniel from Generic Entertainment. I still need to edit that. Haven't had time, alas. We're also hoping to get that Cosmere chick on here to help us review Rhythm of War. And then we also have a slew of guest hosts that we've conversed with at the con. They'll be helping us do things like Elantris's magic system and stuff like that. So we have a great winter smorgasbord for y'all to enjoy. And that's all I have to say.
Yep. So until next time, don't panic, World Hoppers.
Life before death, strength before weakness, and attending Dragonsteel 2024 before destination. Yeah. All right, I'm going to hit the button.
Woo.
The music you hear is Part 3, The Spirit, from Zavadilla's The Music of Elantris, produced by B-Roll Records. Available now on Apple Music, Spotify, and most music providers.
If you like what you hear and you want others to hear it as well, please leave a rate and review. It really helps us get more listeners.